Okay, we're going to begin sphere shading. These are the supplies that you're going to need. You're going to need your 6B ebony pencil and an eraser and your kneaded eraser. So please have all these items ready in addition to something round that you can use to trace a nice round sphere. So what I'm going to do to begin, I'm going to take a regular pencil and very lightly draw the contour of the sphere. So we are using a reference image, and in this reference image, I'm going to notice that the background horizon line is at a diagonal angle. So whether this is exact or not will determine a couple of things. So take a look at your reference photo and notice where the line goes through. So, you know, it's not halfway through, so think of it as almost a third, and it's at a slight angle. I'm just going to very lightly draw this horizon line in the back. Okay, so this is what you want to begin with. It's always easier to complete shading the back of the drawing. So we're going to look at the background, and there are some steps that I've posted in Schoology on the easiest way to complete this. So we're just going to shade the background, and then we'll get into the cast shadow that curves around this reflected highlight. So there's some things that we want to notice. There's a little bit of a reflection right here that reflects onto the base of the sphere. There's a light just kind of does all sorts of things. So in this particular image, that's what it's doing. I'm going to very lightly begin, and you want to hold your pencil from the back of the pencil so that you can have a lot of control over the value. If you look at the way my fingers are attached to the back, make sure when you get down to, I guess what you would call this is 7 o'clock on the sphere, you want to leave a little highlighted area. Now you're drawing super light to where you can hardly see this. Let's additionally go around 7 o'clock and begin creating this ellipse for the cast shadow. Don't get it right. This doesn't look completely right. You can adjust it. Just know that there is a little bit of a light spot, a little bit of highlight there. So it's not completely a 10. Make sure you keep your pencil sharpened so you can be as detailed as possible. I'm going to begin with the core shadow. So if we look at this like it's a clock, this is around 1 o'clock. So looking at my steps example, say 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So you can use that as a reference. So from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and then it kind of curls over. We want to save room for any corrections. It's a round sphere, so we have to get that curvature. Going in little circles, this is burnishing rather than hatching. You can kind of determine the easiest way for you to achieve this smooth surface, but try and follow my lead on the techniques. Little tiny circles to make it look nice and smooth. Defining the difference between this background value and the actual object. So if we want to look at the way this creeps down along the edge, that's exactly what's happening right here. That goes all the way down to about 6 o'clock range, and we can really define the difference between these two by darkening right where it touches the surface. Because like I've mentioned before, where an object touches the surface it's sitting on is the most darkest place. Lightening up on the pressure for this one area between 3 and 6 o'clock. Do notice that the highlight, it's much lighter right here. If you need to use your sticky eraser to reduce that later, you can. I am trying to go really fast so that this video is not too long because we're already at 8 minutes. So please know that you can pause at any time and take your time while doing this. And try not to smear with your palm. Put a piece of paper under your hand if you need to. Having smeared graphite really destroys all of your hard work. So as long as you have a difference between the background and this light value, do your best. Darken this just a little bit. We can sticky eraser that part if we want in the end. Hatching to even out this value. I'm going to go ahead and take my sticky eraser and just do like a little value test over here on the edge. I can pull that highlight back out. My hand was a little too heavy on that side. So we're looking for smooth transitions, and you're matching the value, keeping this round sphere. Don't lose your edge around the perimeter. And then forgot to do the background, and the background is not quite as dark as this right here. So you can really use this as a reference point. This dark place right here is the very, very darkest part. Add some hatching. I got a little dark freckle from something under my paper. You can always take those spots off with a sticky eraser. Try not to outline there. Whatever value you do to define that border, make sure that it's not a cookie cutter outline and that it disappears into the background. About time to sharpen my pencil just because I'm starting to get a dull edge. It's a little bit harder to control where I want everything to go. Still have to close in on this reflective highlight. Not completely the white of the paper. You got to really ask yourself, is anything really the white of the paper? What value would it be? A little bit of cross-hatching there. So it's not complete yet. There's always, going to be all these little spots that we need to improve on. So please take the rest of the time to get some feedback from your peers, get some feedback from your teacher, and see which areas are not quite finished yet. So I'll keep working on this. This is a 16-minute video so far. I'm going to go ahead and pause and work on it for a few minutes so the video is not as long, and then ask any questions you need to. Back again. Sometimes when you get to a certain point, it's good to just take a quick break and look at what you've done. I'm just hatching the opposite direction. I did it horizontal, now I'm just kind of doing a diagonal hatch. There's a few things that are not complete here in the shadow. Sure if the lamp helps. All the details. Okay, don't forget when you are finished with this to put your name in the corner and turn your needs to go right here. Your class period. I cannot accept your work unless you turn it in with your name on it. Okay?